The Yankees managed to win one, even though they played a sloppy game once again. Nonetheless, we got the win. The Blue Jays lost both games of their doubleheader versus the Orioles, so that puts the Yankees 4 games behind them right now. Um, so we're right there, honestly. Even though it feels like we're way further behind from the Blue Jays, we're right there. I mean, a good week. They have a bad week. We have a good week. We could be right back in this thing. But nonetheless, though, the Yankees still can't figure out how to play clean baseball. Anthony Volpe 2 errors tonight. Look, I don't even know. I don't know what to say about him anymore. The Yankees, they got to do something about this. They have to. It's to a point where he's almost unplayable. I get it. Today he had a good offensive night, so he made up for some of those errors. Um, he had a home run and an RBI single, but still, I mean, this is gonna be a problem. We won tonight, but it could have easily went the other way. Same thing with Devin Williams, right? And the bullpen. Same thing. Honestly, I don't trust anybody who comes out of that bullpen. None of them make me comfortable. I don't know about you guys. You let me know. But Jonathan Loizaga came out there. He got lucky. He almost blew it too. Um, and Devin Williams, of course, with the nail biter at the end. Good thing we were able to come away with the win. But the Yankees seem like they look for ways to blow games. Like they were about to let this one slip out of their hands, and it would have been a whole different kind of show today. But nonetheless, let me skip to this real quick, and we'll get into the chat, talk about the trade deadline, and get into all of that. Appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at the box score real quick, because this thing is pretty interesting. 2 errors, both by Volpe, right? In the first inning too. And you know what's the thing? When you give up errors like that, when you got a guy like Max Fried pitching, it it forced him to throw an extra what, like 20 pitches or something like that, 10, 15 pitches. That could have been an extra inning. Instead, even though he still pitched great, gave us what, like 6, 7 innings, but he probably could have went even further. So let's look at the lineup right here. Grisham 0 for 3. Look, I understand why they keep putting him out there not center field in the leadoff spot, but at this point, he's been 0 for a while now, so it's probably time to switch it up. Put Dominguez up there. Dominguez has been hitting. He had 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits today. Can we switch it up, Boom? Please? Can we do that? Ben Rice went 0 for 2. Paul Goldschmidt 1 for 4 with an RBI. Cody Bellinger with the big night, 3-run bomb to get us right back in this thing because it was looking very ugly. Very, very ugly. We were down 3-zip early with the error by Volpe. That killed us right there. If he doesn't make that error, I truly believe that Max Fried, he gets out of the first inning unscathed, and it would have been 1-zip. But nonetheless, Cody Bellinger stepping up, next man up, right? Cody Bellinger's the second best player on this team. It's not even close. It's him and Judge. He came through with a big 3-run bomb. Jazz Chisholm 0 for 4. Dominguez 2 for 4. I think it's time to put him back at the leadoff spot. McMahon 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Volpe 2 for 4. So he did make up for his errors, but still, you can't be making those errors. It's at a point where this is getting crazy. This is getting ridiculous. And it's not like they're meant to mistake. Like he's literally physically throwing the ball in the dirt. I don't know if he got the yips or what he got, but they got to figure this out. The Yankees must figure this out. Let's see what the pitching. All right, we went 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, so that's not bad. All right, Max Fried 6 2/3 inning. I really think he could have gave you 7, 8 innings, at least a full 7 if Volpe doesn't make that error in the first. Loizaga, came in for an inning, gave up 2 hits. It got real scary right there with Loizaga, but he got out of it. Same thing with Devin Williams. Gave up a run. He seemed like he didn't have command of his pitches today, especially his fastball. But at least we came through with the win, right? We're 4 games back now. 4 games back from the Blue Jays. And I'll be honest, it's crazy because just from yesterday to today, it feels a little better, right? Even though we got some holes, man, this bullpen has to be fixed. The bullpen got to get fixed ASAP. ASAP. If we expect to do anything this year, this bullpen got to be fixed, and we really have to figure out this Volpe thing. I think it's time. Look, I get it. He had the home run and everything, but those 2 errors could have cost us the game, and you could see it on Boone's face. I think it's time they do something. Maybe set him down for a game or two. Put Amer Rosario in there. And I get it. He's not the greatest defender either, but we got to figure this Volpe thing out. It's becoming a big problem if it wasn't already. Excuse me. He's this is every game now. It's every single game he's having a mishap on the field. He leads the league right now with the most errors by a position player with 15. So he's the sole possession of the most errors, and that's not what you want to be leading in, right? Um, the Yankees got to really, really rethink this thing and figure this out. They really do. It's getting to a point where you can't even play him, in my opinion, where he's unplayable. I don't know how the analytics people and all that, whoever is in Boone's ear, or is it Boone's decision or something, but they got to come together as a collective, the whole leadership management of the Yankees, all the coaches and everything, and be like, look, we got to figure this thing out. If we got to send him down for a little bit, we send him down. If we got to sit him for a few games, then sit him. Because, yeah, he went 2 for 4 today, but let's see what he does tomorrow. You know, he's still batting 2 something, which was not great. And the low twos, like 215 or something like that. But let me get into the chat and say what's up to everybody. Demon D's in the building, says, let's go Yankees. Appreciate it. OG says, Volpe is like Godzilla with the blindfold on. This kid is all over the place, tearing it up, breaking it down, and building it back up again. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, you're killing me, man. Who else we got in here? Katie, what's up, Katie? Baba Booney by OG. What's up, Andrew? OG says we would have absolutely been nowhere if we lost that game tonight. Oh man, this game you had to win, especially when Baltimore beat the Blue Jays in both games of the doubleheader. Imagine if we would have lost today. And look, that makes me think about yesterday's game, right? Imagine if we win that game. If we would have took that game, right now we'd be 3 games back, and it's all of a sudden it seems more possible. Even though we're 4 games back, the way this team has been playing, it feels like 12. It really does. It really feels like 12. Even when we had the lead, when it was at one point it was 6-3 or something like that, I didn't feel comfortable. As soon as Max Fried came out, he gave up a run there late, 6-4. They bring in Jonathan Loizaga. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go with the shenanigans again. They managed to pull it through, but let me tell you something. Cashman needs to be on that phone. I'm sure he is, but they need to make some moves. And we're going to talk about that too. There's a lot of, this time of year, you get so many trade rumors. Some are just absolutely ridiculous. Hey, but some of them are feasible, and I could see it happening maybe. But they got to make a move. They got to make a move. I don't want to hear all this Harrison Bader stuff and all that. That's cool and all, but like, let's get some pitchers here ASAP. ASAP. I don't even think we should even wait till Thursday, last minute, because at that point, who knows what could happen. But Thursday, 6 p.m. is the cutoff time, I believe. That's the official trade deadline. And let's get some arms in. We need them bad. Susan, hey Susan, she says, hoping Luis Hill is a help. I'm sure he's a help, but I would even you can't don't count on it either because we don't know what we're gonna get from him. We really don't. I think he will be, but even him alone is not gonna change. It's not gonna it's not gonna change much on this team, right? He's gonna be in the rotation, pitching one game every 5 days. Like we need arms. We need arms in that bullpen. And then we got to figure out this Volpe thing because this thing is getting out of control. And I think the Yankees, they know it too. I can see it on Boone's face. I don't care what he says. I can see it on his face that he's like, man, we got to do. You can't do that. You can't make errors like that every game. Sometimes and a lot of times he makes errors. They don't even count it. And I get it. I hear what people are going to say. Paul Goldschmidt needs to make that catch. And you're right. But still, that's still a tough catch, you know? The shortstop's supposed to throw it to his chest. That's why that error always goes to the shortstop or whoever's throwing the ball. And he saved them a lot. He saved that infield a lot of errors. They gotta do something. I think it's time they need to start shopping for a shortstop. I'm gonna play Boone here in a second. Let's listen to what he got to say. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing because sometimes he be talking about nonsense. But I do want to hear what he has to say about Volpe. So let me do this here and play this. All right.
Aaron ultimately get the win, but how much are you holding your breath in that ninth inning when you're giving them another extra out?
Yeah, obviously got dicey there and, plays we got to finish.
You look at early in this one, Max Fried, some extra outs there early in this one, and then really found his way after that third inning. Just what, from your vantage point, was he doing differently that allowed him to retire 14 in a row?
I don't know about different. I mean, we got to turn double play in the first for him, and that turns into a long inning. And then I thought he got efficient.
Yeah, that double play that should have been turned, that was one of the Volpe errors there.
Enough, especially in the middle innings, to give us a chance to get really deep in this game. Obviously, not having a few guys down there available. So, just kind of a stud, grinded effort by him.
You went out there. Did you intend on taking him out in that scenario, or you just wanted to hear what he had to say?
Yeah.
How much were you kind of deliberating, knowing where his pitch count was?
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about it before the inning. I wanted him to go out and face low, and after he got him, we kind of caught eyes in the dugout, and and then he ends up getting what do you get next? Caballero. He gets him out, and then loses Fortes. And I knew he was at the end of the line, but if I could, I really wanted to give Lowe potentially a clean inning there, or have him for Diaz. Just wanted to keep Walls from the right side there.
The fact that you have to go to Jonathan Loaizaga in a situation like that is crazy. He's shown us time and time again he doesn't have it. You need to get arms. I'm surprised they didn't bring in Tim Hill. Poor Tim Hill, man. They're gonna pitch that dude's arm off. They need bullpen arms. They need bullpen arms, and that's one thing that I can't blame Boone. He got to go to somebody, right? And who else are you gonna go to? But Jonathan Loaizaga is not the guy you want to see up there in a close game or in an important situation at all. He cannot be a high leverage pitcher anymore. He's got to earn that back. He's got to earn that trust back. And even today, immediately, as soon as he came in the game, gave up 2 hits right away. Luckily, they didn't score any runs.
If he felt like he had enough, he did, and obviously just made a mistake over the heart that led to the extra base hit.
With Volpe, he had 2 big at-bats there on the offensive end, but obviously the errors. Do you think that's becoming a little bit mental?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get over it. We got to get through it. One thing for certain, he's really, really good out there, and he's clearly had some struggles.
Hold on,
a little indecisive with that last throw there, and he's, one thing, we got to get over it. We got to get through it. One thing for certain, he's really, really good out there, and he's clearly.
Hold on.
One thing for certain,
am I hearing this right?
Really, really good out there, and he's clearly had some struggle.
Bro, he's not. Okay, Like, let's stop with this madness already. He is not good out there. He's not. I get it. You're gonna tell us that, right? But he's got to know that, hey, you're not good out there right now. It's crazy, man. And they keep throwing him out there. Look, at this point, like something, you have to fix it somehow. And that goes to Katie's comment there. It says, in your honest opinion, Jason, what do you think needs to happen with Volpe? Something. You can't just keep throwing them out. Something. There needs to be some kind of action taken. And I'm not saying, look, maybe if you could trade him for get something better, then okay, yeah, why not? But even if you don't want to do that, I get it. But maybe just sit him down for a game or two. Let him take a breather at least. But you keep throwing him out there. He's making error after error. And this is like games in a row. Mishaps several days in a row. Like, give him a break. Maybe that'll help. Or send him down. That's, even that's a little harsh, but sometimes that's what you got to do. Look what the Mets did with Francisco Alvarez, and look what he's doing coming back. You got to do something. I think Volpe should be traded. I don't think they're going to do it now because they're probably not going to be able to get anything for him. But at the very least, right, if you're not going to do that, like, I'm all for trying to fix it, but you got to try to fix this. You can't just keep throwing them out there and hoping he figures it out. We've done that all year already, and he hasn't figured it out all season so far. So maybe, take a step back and start. And I get it. I mean, Rosario is not the greatest defender, but neither is Volpe right now. So, what the hell? Just throw him out there. Maybe to make Volpe, I don't know, light something and some kind of motivation or something. Do something. Maybe something to click when he realizes, oh, shit, they don't love me like they used to. They don't love me like, or whatever that thing goes. But anyway, let's finish this.
And, a little indecisive with that last throw, like, and not that, it's a short hop there, but, we can't be indecisive there. And he'll get through it. But obviously there's.
Hold on, I got to pause this. My bad. Let me get to Stephen B's. Stephen B. That error right there, that's not being hurt. Stephen B said Volpe leads the league with 15 errors. I got it, right? He's obviously hurt. I don't know that. Honestly, I don't think he's that hurt because I could see him moving around, swinging, and maybe he is a little bit hurt. Everybody's a little banged up at this point of the season. That right there, that error, these errors that he's making, it's not from being hurt. That's from just not executing, just not being good. Like, let's call it what it is, folks. Let's not make an excuse, okay? And if the dude's hurt, then get him off the damn field. Like, I'm tired of this, bro. Let's not do what Boone does. That's what I mean. Let's not make an excuse for him. Let's not. If he's hurt, then get him off the field. If you on that field, I'm gonna consider you not hurt, and you got to perform.
There's been some tough moments here, and but for a very talented defender, he will get through it, and we got to get him there.
Gary, so he was hesitant there. I don't know, man. The Yankees got to do something about that. They really do. Damn, where am I in the chat? NFE, what's up, man? Make sure y'all go check out NFE. Susan said, I think they should sit him down several games. Even Rosario may not be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to sit him down, do something. At this point, because I hear everybody say, well, who you going to put? It really don't matter. Like, the dudes, whoever you put out there is going to give you, at the very minimum, the same thing that Volpe's giving you now. But we have to do so. Whatever they've been trying with him and just keeping him, just throwing him out there day after day after day after day, it ain't working. You can tell that it's starting to get to him. You can see it. And look, and I'm not saying like I want Volpe to do good. I want him to succeed. You think I want to see him make an error in the bottom of the ninth and almost blow the game? Of course not. But we got to do something. We got to do. If it was a one off, this is not a one off. This is going on for quite some time now. Okay, he didn't just stumble upon leading the league in errors. No, and those are errors that they counted because I could think of like 4 or 5 off the top of my head right now that I saw plays that they didn't give him the error, but they probably could have. So it's no good. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. This dude. Jason, oh, what's up, man? For real, I've never seen a shortstop make this many errors, and it's like over and over again. And man, look, I know people. I don't hate the guy or anything like that. I really don't, and I want him to be good. We need him to be good. We really do. But it ain't happening. And my thing is just like, yo, we got to do something. You can't just keep doing the same thing. We're not getting results. We're not. So let's try something else. Sit him down for a couple days or send him down or do something. But you can't just keep throwing him out there and telling yourself that he's an elite shortstop, that he's the best. He's the best. And you watching him fumble the ball every game, throwing the ball in the dirt. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Jacob, what's up? Uh yeah, they better not say Luis Hill is going to be our savior. Yeah, and like NFE pointed out there, I can't find the chat. We do have some people coming back, right? Fernando Cruz is supposed to start throwing a bullpen or something like that and everything, but who knows when they're gonna come back and who knows what they're gonna be. Look, especially with a guy like Fernando Cruz. Um, I'm gonna put up his stats here. How can I expect? Yeah, he was good for us in the beginning of the season, but how can I expect him to be this top bullpen guy if he's never been that in his whole career? Yeah, he pitched good um the first half of the season or whatever before he got hurt. He was pitching good, but that could have easily changed. A lot of these guys were pitching good in the beginning, but as the season progressed, they started reverting. What's not to say that would have happened to him. I don't know that. I think that he's gonna be good, but his career tells me that he's not that guy. So I'm not gonna put all my eggs in that Fernando Cruz basket when he's never been a top reliever in his career. And Luis Hill, the same thing. I'm not gonna put all my eggs in that basket because yeah, Luis Hill was good last year, right? Won Rookie of the Year, and I think he's still gonna be good. But he's been off for so long. He still needs to ramp up. I get it. He's pitching in the minor leagues. He's doing his rehabs, but it's not the same when you get up here. It's a different kind of. Hopefully, he can hit the ground running and just take off and be a stud for us. But if he isn't, I understand too. At the same time, and so my thing, guys, look, let's not fall for the same bullshit. This is how they get us every single year. And when they don't make a move, when it's not what we expect, and they come out with some guy that we've never heard of before and say that Matt Blake is going to fix him, because that's what we tell ourselves. Matt Blake is going to fix this guy, right? And then they say, well, we didn't feel like we needed to make those trades because we have these guys coming off the IL. And essentially it's like acquiring somebody. No, it's not. Don't let them lie to you, man. I'm not falling for that BS no more. They say, oh, yeah, it's like a trade. It's like we traded for somebody. Ta-da. We got, this guy coming back. No, man. I'm not falling for that shit. I'm telling you. Susan says, let's face it, Volpe's errors are unforgivable. It's to the point where I feel for the guy, like personally, as a human being, as a father too, because and somebody who played when I was younger too, but even like my son, right? He plays baseball, and I've seen him struggle out there, and make mistakes and let his team down. And I feel for him, right? And the same thing with Volpe. I feel for the guy. But at some point, you gotta step up. You gotta step up. They treating this like it's Little League. This ain't freaking Little League. And even in Little League, at some point, if you keep making errors, they move you. You feel me? Like, or you get to you see the bench. And that's how you learn how to, you know, you learn how to fail. You learn it builds character. It's not a bad thing, right? So he's telling my son, it's not a bad thing. It's just that somebody right now you're messing up. You got to do better, and that's how you show them that you got to do better. But now with this kid, for some reason, with Volpe, it's like it don't matter. He could go out there and do whatever he wants. They're never gonna take him out or do anything or bench him or something. You don't even have to tell us that you're benching him. Just tell the public that it's just a scheduled day off, right? Or scheduled 2 days off, whatever it is. He hurt his toenail or something. And let him sit for 2 days if that makes you feel better. But this can't go on, man, because this is stuff like this that's going to show up. If we do make it to the postseason, this is going to show up. If we happen to, because we're going to face the Blue Jays again in September. If we happen to close the gap, right, and end up running into them again and getting embarrassed again with this kind of bullshit play, come on. I don't know. And I get it. I'm trying to be happy because we won, right? 1 game at a time. We're 4 games back. So I am happy. But this is one of those games that it was like, whew, they almost let it slip out their hands. OG says, and yeah, Volpe carried through. Oh, yeah, we read all that again. Oh, man. Boonus glass gliding us again. Yeah. My bad, folks. I'm trying to catch up to the chat. Make sure you like the video, too. Make sure you like. It should be somewhere down there. And if you're on your phone, you got to exit out the chat, hit like, and then enter back into the chat. Mr. Met Killer, welcome. What's up, man? Volpe will make an error per home run. What a guy. Yep. Mr. Met Killer says, Andrew, lame clown. Let's go, Yankees. Nah, Andrew's a funny dude, man. Stephen B for cheesecakes. Ken, what's up, Ken? Volpe is nursing an injury. He needs to sit. If he's nursing an injury, he needs to sit. But while you out there, if you're out there, you need to play better. And I'm not giving him that. I'm sorry, Ken. I'm not giving him a pass, bro. There's no excuse to make those throws. His throwing arm is not injured. And I get it. Everything's connected, right? Your neck bone's connected to your backbone or whatever the song goes. But those errors right there, that's not from being hurt. Trust me, I've played before. Those errors are not from being hurt. That's just a poor throw. It's a lazy, poor throw. He messed up his timing, his internal clock. You could tell because he like double step. His timing was way off. That's not because he's hurt. Who says, Jason, we had a great chance to gain 2.5 games, but settle for 1.5 games. Yeah. And I'm going to play this thing again. Let's see it again one more time.
Mentioned guys playing to not make mistakes or playing.
Yeah.
And we got to get him there.
You see that? That is not from being hurt right there. That is just him double clutching and just his timing is way off. The rhythm was off. When you playing shortstop, especially shortstop, it's an internal clock. You gotta, it's like a rhythm. The way the ball bounces and everything, how many bounces it takes if you to get a short hop or in between hop, or you're gonna play it back. He did make a good play. They had a double play where he short hopped. He played it perfectly. That was the only way to play it. And I don't know, but this one, and look, we'll play it again. This is not from being hurt. I cannot you cannot watch this and say, oh, that's because he's hurt.
He will get through it, and we got to get him there.
Gary and Brian.
I'm not buying that. Uh, embrace the madness, baby. That shot the McMahon hit. That shot McMahon hit that DeLuca ran down is a home run in 24 major league stadiums. Though he got his first. No, man, we ain't counting that as first. You thought he had his first dinger? Yeah. Nah, but McMahon's been I mean, he's been doing what I expect him to do. Give you solid defense. And the bat it hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been terrible as of so far since he's been on the team. So I'll take it. He's been so far both guys they picked up, right? Rosario and McMahon have been all right. You know, they've been all right. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick, and I'll be right back.
Bullpen meatballs. Serving them up all 2025 season.
You better like the video, and while you're at it, subscribe to my friend Jason's channel.
The reason your butt has been hurting is because you have YDS, Yankees Derangement Syndrome.
Hey y'all, don't forget, channel members can bring up live player stats.
All right, let's get into these trades, man, because all these trade rumors circling around. Some of them are just absolutely nonsense, but some of them I could see happening. I think the Yankees will get a starter, and at the very minimum, one bullpen arm, hopefully two. But there were reports that yesterday's game, Sandy Alcantara started yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? What's today? Anyway, his last start, I believe it was today. I gotta check. Or was it yesterday? But the Yankee scouts were all over that park scouting the guy. Maybe they're looking at him. Maybe they're looking at somebody else. But I'm pretty sure that they're looking at Sandy Alcantara. I'm not saying that they're gonna get him or anything like that. But I do believe that they're thinking about it, because the thing with Sandy Alcantara. Look, I'm not saying they should get him. I'm not saying they shouldn't either. But I understand why there's still a lot of interest in the guy, because he has a favorable contract for a team. He has control to like 2028 or something like that. And we've seen the upside. He has tremendous upside. I get his ERA is like, 6 right now, something like that. But there's tremendous upside if this dude can be even half of what he was before. So I do expect the Yankees to really be thinking about it, at least tinkering with it, trying to see him, trying to get scouts over there to see what they see, and I'm sure they have scouts everywhere. There's a lot of reports with this dude, Andrew Heaney. I don't, this is another name that John Heyman just threw out. John Heyman, I feel like sometimes just throws out names just to throw out names, if I'm being quite honest. But the Yankees are linked to everybody and their mother, apparently. Who they gonna get? Who the hell knows, right? At this point, I think the Ryan McMahon is one of those, when they traded for Ryan McMahon. That's one of those that I could see it happening. Even before it happened, a lot of people were saying, "Look, we could see this happening," right? Amel Rosario, kinda, but I didn't really think that they were gonna make that move. But now the bullpen arms got to come through, and it's interesting to see what they're gonna do. There's reports that they're engaged in a lot of talks with Arizona uh about Zach Gallen and freaking Kelly. Who knows? At this point, I don't know. I think we could all say who we want and everything. Oh, the Yankees, I'm sure they're on their board, they got their picks. Like, it's a draft, right? Like, we want this guy, this is what we're willing to give up to. But if that guy comes off the board, then it's the next man up. A lot of people want David Bednar. That's a guy that I would like to. He's a good pitcher. Um, but there's things with him. He was sent down at some point this season because he wasn't good. He turned it around though. But so who they gonna get? Really, I don't know. Nobody knows. If anybody tells you they know who they're gonna get, they're bullshit. And some people be right. Just throw out names. Eventually, one of them will hit, right? But they need to get bullpen arms, and I'm talking about some high end bullpen arms. Maybe you know, I want to see a guy like Duran or something like that. A really a real stud, and then somebody who could give us at least like 2 innings. Michael K this morning on his show, he said something that really, really had me thinking. He was talking about that the Yankees should really look into trading Devin Williams. And here's why, right? Devin Williams, I kind of agree with him in a way. I do. But we would have to we would have to replace him too. Because right now he's probably he's one of the better relievers we got in the bullpen, if not the best. But here's why Michael K was saying that. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Michael K, but he did make sense with this. He did make sense. That's what I'm saying. But you have to get another closer, though. That's what I'm saying. You have to go out and get another closer, somebody. Or you go with Luke Weaver and hope that he could figure it out and be Luke Weaver that he was last year. I don't trust that either. But the thing is, the likelihood of them re-signing or the likelihood of the Yankees signing Devin Williams is really low. Like when you think about it, it's really low. He's gonna go and get a bag, and he's gonna demand for his pedigree and his career. He's gonna demand maybe not Tanner Scott kind of money or Josh Hader kind of money, but up there, right? And the Yankees are not gonna spend $20 million. Let's say $20 million on a reliever, on a closer. They're just not. They just not. Of course, he says that, but he's gonna want his money. He's willing to sign an extension, but he's gonna want his money. See, that's how it works. When have you ever heard a player say, "No, I'm not gonna say"? Even Vladimir Guerrero walked back what he was saying. Remember, he said, "I would never play for the Yankees" and all that. And then as he got closer to free agency, he was like, "Yeah, I'll play for them. I wouldn't mind. I'll talk to them." See what I'm saying? These dudes, they know how to play the game. His agent probably told him, yeah, you don't tell him, hey, I'm not signing an extension. Because when you hit free agency, you want the Yankees in on you. Because that's going to drive the price up. So all because he said he's willing to sign an extension doesn't mean that that's what he's going to do. you know? Yeah, Ryan Helsley's another guy that's out there. Another guy. But here, check this out, right? Because the likelihood of them extending him, right, is to me is very low. He's gonna demand multiple years at almost $20 million a year, and I can't see. And the way he pitched with us, I'm not saying he's terrible, but he hasn't been great either. Let's be honest. Devin Williams has not been great as a Yankee, and if you're selling yourself that he is, you're bullshitting yourself. Like, let's be completely honest, he hasn't. If the Yankees were to extend him, it would have to be a deal that favors the Yankees, in my opinion. Or you can trade him. Look, here's the thing: you can trade him because right now with Emmanuel Clase out of the market, those high end relievers are gonna cost more. You can trade Devin Williams, get something significant in return, and then go sign him in the offseason. You know what I mean? Like, you can easily do that. That's what they did in, what was it, 2016 with the Aroldis Chapman. They traded him to the Cubs. We got Gleyber Torres in the offseason. We signed him back. He put back on the uniform, and he was a Yankee again. You see what I'm saying? Those are moves like that, man. That those are sneaky moves. And even if you really did want to extend him or bring him back, you can still do that. He's gonna be a free agent. He's gonna be a free agent in 2 months. You know what I mean? That's what you got to think about that. Because in all reality, even though it's not over, right? It's definitely not over. But when you look at this team, think to yourself, right? Be honest with yourself. When you look at this team, and I've said this many times, not only today, I've said this even before, even when we were in first place, I was saying that this team doesn't look like a championship team to me. Be honest with yourself. Is this a team? Is this a championship team? When you look at it, is this a championship team? I say, look, anything can happen, but it's not likely. It's not likely. So at that point, I'm not saying sell. I'm saying you got to be very smart about things. Very smart. Because if the Yankees need to be, they need to be realistic and manage their expectations, right, of this team. Because if they don't really expect to go that far, and they don't feel like they could get the necessary pieces to go to the World Series, to put us to that level with a lot of these other teams, then they need to start thinking about, look, guys like Devin Williams, who might not even be a Yankee in a few months. Maybe we should let him go. Maybe we should trade him and get something for him. And if we want him in the offseason, we could bring him right back. You know what I mean? I hear what you guys are saying, right? Right now we're a playoff team. That could easily change at any moment. And we could go a bad stretch, a bad 3 games, and all of a sudden we're not even in it no more. So the Detroit Tigers, even though they had lost like 11 out of 12 recently, we face a team like that. The way we construct it now, unless Cashman goes and blows us out of the water, but if he doesn't make some moves that really, really move the needle, let's be honest, guys. This team is, I'm not saying they can't make it, because there is an opportunity, right? Like you said, it's wide open, but it's highly unlikely. I'm gonna be like, let's be realistic. It'll be highly unlikely that they're gonna freaking be able to do it with this team, especially we're not even sure about Judge. We don't have Judge. Every team, right, goes through slumps, right, guys? But the Yankees, they've been slumping for 2 months or a little more than 2 months. This team, the way it's constructed, the way this bullpen is, the rotation, even the lineup, man, look, it's not impossible for them to win it all, right? Anything's possible. But they've been since what? Like since June, since the beginning of June or the end of May, they're tied with the Rockies and the White Sox. They've literally been the worst team in Major League Baseball. That's not good. That's not, look, championship teams don't do that. Not at the level that we were doing it. And people say, like, I hear like, well, the Diamondbacks and look, or the Rangers at 23, those teams they never went through a funk like this team is going through. And look at today. We almost blew today. And I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I'm just saying you got to really start thinking like that. You have to think responsibly as a front office. As a front office, you have to think responsibly. You have to. Yacine says Cashman won't overpay for relievers. I get it. So then if you're not going to get the relievers that we need to really make us the team that we need to be, then you got to start thinking about moving some people to get other people, you know? Jake says, I don't believe any team in the AL is a championship team right now. I think it's wide open for anyone to win. I don't know. I truly believe that look right now the rumors that's going around is the Blue Jays are like they're in on Stephen Kwan. Like they've been talking, they trying to get Stephen Kwan over there, and they're also shopping for pitchers. They're supposedly right. We don't know. They're supposedly all in. A team like the Tigers, supposedly all in. In a few days, some of these teams that you saying are not championship teams could very well be. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if look, and I'm not saying to trade him or to not trade him. I think the Yankees, they need to start thinking responsibly. And some of these players, right, that especially a player like Devin Williams, who I feel like, regardless of what Stephen B says, I feel like he hates it here. I feel like no matter what, he's leaving here next year, dude. I can see it in his face, bro. When I look at him, I see a guy who doesn't want to be here. So if you could get something for him, then why not? Uh, okay. Trying to see something. Give me a second, folks. Where's my chat at? All right. Okay. Not the greatest arm, but that's an arm that the Tigers just made. And also, let me pull them up real quick. Look, these teams are making moves, man. And I don't think this is gonna be the only moves they make. I don't know. This guy only got one strikeout, 5 innings pitched, so he must have been hurt. Okay, Reese Olson's hurt. Look, and even then, a team like the Tigers are very dangerous. They're very dangerous because they have a dominant closer. I mean, not closer, a dominant pitcher. And you face a team like that, right? In a 5-game series or 7-game series, if they have other starters too, it's tough, man. I think that this team, look, the Yankees, is it over? No, they could get back in this. They really can. But it's going to take for a lot of these guys to step up. A lot of these guys to step up. And I just don't see, there's nothing that they've showed me all year that tells me that they're capable of doing that. These dudes. Now with Judge not around, they did it early in the season, some of them. But, you know, that was about it. Steven says, here's the problem. Yankees aren't as good as the first 2 months, and this bad 2 months, I think, is in between. Losing Cabrera was a huge loss. No, I feel you, but even if they're in between that, then that means they're not that good. Like, who are we kidding, man? Look, and I'll be honest. I love this team. I love it, but I know enough to know, and I've been saying this and Stephen B, you've been watching me for quite some time. I've said it earlier. I've said it many times. This is not a championship team. It's not. It just isn't. You know, they got some good names. But the way, even what I saw today, yeah, we got to win. Great. But the way they played today, I did see some good things. They're trying to run the bases more. They're trying to manufacture runs because when you take a guy like Judge out of the lineup, you got to do so. You got to. But if you're kicking around the ball on the infield and throwing the ball away, come on. And Cat Mama, what's up? Cat Mama says, hold on, let me put it up right here. Devin Williams at the end of the last year Devin Williams said at the end of last year when he found out that he was being traded to the Yankees, what came out of his mouth was, I thought I was being traded to the Dodgers. Look, Cat Mama, that guy does not want to be here. If you think that he's going to sign an extension, I don't know what to tell you. You're living in la la land. He hates it here. You can see this all over his face. Maybe he would if the money's right. If they was to blow him away with some crazy amount of money, then maybe he would. Or maybe he grows to like it. But right now, when I see him, every time I see him pitch, he looks like a guy that ain't gonna be here long. Like, am I the only one who sees that? I don't know. Is that just me? Tell me. But when I look at Devin Williams, he looks like a guy who doesn't want to be here, doesn't like it here, and he ain't gonna be here long. Yeah, I just said that, man. The John Heyman put that out there that the Yankees are interested in Andrew Heaney. Pull up the stats, Yasin. No, I know that's what you're saying. I agree, and I think that he wants to be a Dodger. He don't want to be a Yankee. Like, so my thing is, look, if you could guess something, and I'm not saying they should do it, but if something comes across, if somebody wants him and you could get something that's like really good, I think you got to consider it. You got to consider that. Ken said, "Is that your mindset?" What are you talking about, mindset? Dude, I'm just being real, man. Of course, I want my team to win, and there is a chance that they could do it. I feel like they could do it. I want them to do, but at the same time, the responsible me is like, okay, all right, but what's the contingency plan? Because it looked like the odds are not in our favor. And that's how I expect the Yankees to be more responsible, or go all in, and go crazy, right? But one or the other. But if you ain't gonna do that, then what's the point? You might as well just start building for next year. Devin Williams was hoping he was a Dodgers. Yeah. Luis Hill. I think you spelled it wrong there. Yankees, yep. The Angels are willing to trade Joe Adele and Taylor Ward. We'll see. This is the time of year, man, where everybody's saying that they're willing to. A lot of teams, they just want to hear, like, we'll see. I wouldn't mind, though. Let's see. I know they got to do something. If they really want to make a push here, they got to do something, and it has to be something that moves the needle big time. It really does. Or we could just do the same thing we do every year. If y'all cool with that, then cool. We'll get two mediocre arms or guys that we never heard of, and they'll come and they'll pitch a game or two pretty well, and we'll all say, oh, Cashman's a genius, and then they'll shit the bed. And then we're like, what the hell? Elite Madness is breaking up. Oh, you guys are crazy. Woken says, need to be realistic. If we can hate Ian Hamilton and he pitched well before, Luke Weaver being bad is very possible. I'm not trusting the Luke Weaver personally. Yeah, but like, what are you going to do, right? Well, he's another guy you could trade too. See what you could get. But those are the guys I don't want to trade, really. But at the same time, man, especially a guy like Devin Williams, all I'm saying is that he's going to ask for a lot of money. And me personally, I feel like most likely he is not signing with the Yankees. And unless you have real conviction in this team that you feel like they're going to do it and they can make a real serious push, like, this is the team, we're going to do it. We're going to make it to the ALCS World Series. If you really feel like that, then yeah, you hold on to him and you ride it out. But if you have doubts in this team, then you move the guy, bro. I'm telling you. You move him, you get whatever you can get, which is gonna be good for a pitcher like that. And you keep it pushing, get some other bullpen arms, and then put Luke Weaver in there again. I can't believe the Jays got swept by the Orioles. Yeah, man, the O's, when they want to, they show up. Devin Williams is actually uncomfortable because he will never stop feeling like the Yankees own him in more ways than one after the ALCS season. After ALCS last season, what are you talking about? The ALC, you talking about Devin Williams? He didn't even pitch against us or for us in the ALCS. You talking about the NLCS? Or not even the NLCS. I don't know what you're talking about, man. After the Yankees crushed them, no, the Mets crushed them. And that was in the division series. Was it? Yeah, that was the division series. Or was it the wild card? I don't remember. That was Pete Alonso who crushed him. He was with the Brewers, man. That's the National League. Yeah, it's the Mets that crushed him. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. It's all good, man. We all make mistakes. That dude does not want to be a Yankee. I'm telling you right now. Relievers are dog shit. Not a lot of good ones, and a lot of good turn bad. Hamilton and Loizaga need to go. Yeah, but you're not gonna get much for those guys, you know. Like look. Of course, I'm rooting for this team. It may sound like I'm not rooting for this team, and I think that they're not gonna make it. I'm just trying to be realistic, right? I hope they do. I really do. But the way they are right now, what I'm seeing with my eyes, and I'm not saying I'm no expert or anything like that, but I've been watching baseball my entire life. I don't see nothing from this team screams at me World Series championship. Nothing. So, like I said, you gotta start kind of retooling the team. I'm not saying you gotta sell everything and give up, but you also have to be responsible, especially for guys like Devin Williams, who I know the Yankees too. I mean, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I'm pretty sure they feel like this guy is not gonna be here next year. You know? So if you're not seriously considering a real push, then you consider moving him. Cat Mama says the polar bear got twins. Yep. We are spoiled because all those years we had Mariano. It could be that too. Realistically, they're not going nowhere, going anywhere. Jason, if you get a project prospect and got two relievers in different trade, you have the roster open. If you get a project prospect, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm gonna be honest with you, Stephen B. If you get a project prospect, I feel like you give me a riddle and got two relievers. I understand if you get two relievers in a different trade. You have the roster open. I don't know. Somebody explain that to me. We got real competition now. That dude that knows the Yankees coming for him, and it intimidated him. That's my thought. Williams, no, he didn't know that the Yankees. No, man. The Yankees. This just happened. The Yankees got him in the offseason, OG, and it was like a random thing. It came out of nowhere. He thought that he was going to the Dodgers. He knew he was being traded, and it was either the Dodgers were gonna get him, but the Yankees came in and offered a better thing. And he didn't look like he wanted to be here. The first thing he did when he got here, he didn't shave, right? This is before the beard policy. He didn't want to shave. And then I guess somebody had to pull him to the side and tell him shave. And then he shaved and he was all butthurt, right? Y'all remember this. Look, I'm keeping tabs. I got my receipts. He was all upset and everything. And he bitched about it. And then that's why they reconsidered the beard policy. It was all for him. And then he came over here in April and pitched terribly in April, right? And look, this is not a knock against him because he's doing good, and I like the guy too. All I'm saying is that he don't want to be here. You got to think about maybe we should start asking like, what can we get for this guy? That's it. And then he caught an attitude with remember with the news people, and they were asking him, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you He had a big ass attitude with them. Look, I know what I'm talking about, man. I'm not saying I get it. He's probably the best reliever we got right now. But I'm thinking ahead, like, all right, look, if this ain't really working out, if it ain't really working out, then maybe a guy like that, especially him that I feel like he doesn't want to be here, maybe you start figuring out, what to do. You got to be a member, Andrew. All right. And my bad. I don't mean to get like that, man. It's crazy, man. All right, let's try this again, Stephen B. I explained it. What I'm saying, get a prospect that needs work, that's high upside for one or two Hamilton or Loizaga, then trade for two relievers. Oh yeah, I get it. Okay. I didn't know that you should have said that. I didn't know you was talking about Hamilton and Loizaga. That's why. I was like, what are you talking about? Since we traded for both relievers, two open spots on the 40. Well, if you trade for two relievers, yeah, then they just replacing Hamilton's and Loizaga's spot on the 40. Madonna. Yeah. Yeah, look, and I'm not saying, look, because I am a fan of Devin Williams, and I was calling for them to trade for Devin Williams even before they traded for him. If you go scroll all the way down in the videos of the lives in my channel, and you're gonna go back to 2 years ago, and I was like, the Yankees should go trade for this dude. He's gonna be available because the Brewers, they never hold on to people. Go trade for him, but it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. And then when I feel like a dude don't want to be here, I start feeling some type of way. And look, it's nothing against him, man. He's a great player, but hey, I'm gonna open it up. Anybody could pull up the stats now. I feel like he's a great player, but they gotta think about it. You know, they gotta think about it. See, and here's the thing, right? So some people would think that if we trade Devin Williams, and then look, I'm not saying do it. I'm saying they have to consider it. Some people are saying if they trade Devin Williams, then trading Caleb Durbin will be a loss. It'll be all for nothing. And I'd argue that if they don't trade Devin Williams, then trading Caleb Durbin was for nothing. You see what I'm saying? Because if he walks after this year, remember Devin Williams is a rental. The same thing with Soto, right? Last year in the offseason, we got Soto. He played a year with us, signed with another team. The same thing with Devin Williams. If he comes, plays this year with us, and then signs with another team, guess what? It was all for nothing. We gave up Caleb Durbin, who's killing it right now, and we don't got nothing. But if we're not confident that we're gonna go far, then deal him and get somebody for him. And if you really want him, then you can still sign him in the offseason. You feel me? I don't understand that. That's pretty simple to understand, right? It makes sense. In my head, it makes sense. I would consider him too, especially Paul Goldschmidt, who's been. And look, I would consider everything. You got to consider everything. Everybody's on the table, tradable, right? Unless they really want to bring him back, that's different. You know, yeah. Goldie he looks like he's tired. Maybe I don't know. He's definitely been regressing from what we saw early in the season. Cashman been trying to trade for Williams for years. All right, we'll trade him back. It didn't work out. How did Edwin Diaz numbers come up as a bat instead of a pitcher? It might be a bug in there. I'd have to fix it. If that happens with some players. Let me see. Edwin Diaz. Yeah, it's a bug for that player. There might be another Edwin Diaz, that's why, somewhere, who's a second base. Let me try something. So if I go Edwin, oh no, it's gonna keep pulling. All right, I could add something like, you know what? For cases like that, I could add something where you put like at the end of the name, put the abbreviation like NYM, so it knows to go to the Mets roster and look for the player. Because that's what's happening. There must be another Edwin Diaz. Cashman has been trying to win a ring for years. If you trade Devin Williams, what do you want in return? I don't know. It depends. I want something, anything to salvage what we gave up for him. Right? Oh yeah, yeah. So you understand how things. That's why sometimes Sunil, sometimes people like, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you? And I'm like, dude, it's really not that easy. Like I wish I could just say, hey, do this, and it'll do it. It's not that easy. I would have to add that in. I would have to add that in the code, so it doesn't know to do that yet. But I can add that. That's a good idea. Um, seriously, this was a super important win tonight. Yeah, it is. It was really important. It really was. Ace is in the building, my man. Cheer himself. Ace, man, you didn't do the play-by-play tonight. I was looking for you too. You leave 1 week from Saturday to college. That's good, man. Congratulations. Good luck. We're only 4 back. It's right in front of us. It is. Oh, you had to work? Ace, man, this is a conversation you're not gonna like. So Michael K in his morning show, I don't even know if he's what they call anymore. Anyway, he threw out the idea that the Yankees should possibly think about trading Devin Williams. And when he gave his reasoning behind it, I kind of agree. It makes sense. It makes sense. And that's one thing. Stephen B, I agree. I don't always agree with Michael K. In fact, a lot of things he says angers me. But this is one thing he said that when he said it, I said, you know what? That makes sense right there. I don't know. It's just something to think about, man. Something to think about. What time is it? We'll go stay on for like another 10, 15 minutes and we'll call it. Michael K is a broken clock. I'd be wary about his thoughts. No, I trust me, dude. I listen, even though I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says, I listen to his stuff every day. And this is one day that I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense, man. The pickleball heat in Texas got you. Oh man, it's hot as hell. All right, take care, Andrew, man. But yes, any player for the right price is fine. Even Bellinger. Even Bellinger is one of the guys that, but right now they can't get rid of him, man. He's our best player. He is. He is, man. The only reason though I say that, Ace, is because if you let me ask you this: do you think this team is going somewhere this year? So this is what the Yankees got to. And then after you answer that question, do you think that Devin Williams is going to re-sign with the Yankees? That's what you got to ask yourself. And I really don't think he is, man. I don't. It'd be different if he looked like felt comfortable and he loved it here and it's great. And I felt like, you know what? No, he's gonna stay here. I don't feel like he's staying here, man. I really don't. Let's make a movie about Michael Caine and use Jack Nicholson to play him on the silver screen. Yassine, I'm about to ban you from doing any commands. As far as DW money talks, and that's the next thing. I don't think the Yankees are gonna offer him that much money. I think he's gonna get more money somewhere else. He's gonna want like close to 20 mil around that area per year for a bunch of years. And I don't think the Yankees gonna do it. I really don't. I'm so fed up with Goldschmidt. We paid him to be a Gold Glover, and he's been a Bronze Glover. Yeah, but still, Volpe's got to make that throw 100 times. That's a Volpe error. It is. That's why they charge the shortstop with the error, because that throw should never. It shouldn't be in the dirt, especially a throw like that. I had just played it like 10 times. A throw like that, because people were saying, "Oh, it's because he's hurt," and that's not a. That error is not from being hurt. That's from being bad. You know. This is an error from being bad. For sure. Yeah. I get it, Goldschmidt. That's a play that you got to make, but man, how many errors has he saved from him? That's what you got to count. You really got to count the ones that he saved. Stephen A. Smith, I mean, he's entertaining. Look, all these guys, I don't agree with everything they say. Mike Francesca, he's good. He's an old timer. Like anybody, there's nobody, even me. You're not gonna agree with everything I say. You know, the same thing. I'm not gonna agree with everything you say. I don't agree with everything my wife says. She don't agree with everything I say. That's called life, bro. That's called being a human. But if you say something, I'm not the type of person either that, all because I feel like a lot of people are like this. They're all because they don't like you. Even when you make a good point, they just find a way. They just find a reason to disagree with you. You understand? So even if I'm not the biggest Michael K fan, if he says something that makes sense, I'm gonna say, yeah, that makes sense. Itchy nuts. Caleb Durbin is a gamer. He plays hard. He plays hard, man. That itchy nuts, bro. You got to get that checked out, man. By the way, huge mistake losing that type of player. Oh my goodness. For the right price, I trade DW. The amount of picks Goldie picked for Volpe, he deserves 2 Gold Gloves. Volpe owes Goldschmidt a mansion and supercars. And yeah, look, he could have made that. If you asked him, I bet you he'd say, "Yeah, I need to make that." But you got to make the throw too. Like that's where the problem started, was with the throw. And I hope Volpe gets it together, man. I really do. Because it's sad, man. It's getting to the point where it's getting sad, man. You hear the stadium boos? They were loud. When he made that first error in the first inning, the boos were loud. It's a miracle that there were only 4 games back with our junkyard of a team. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a miracle. See, this is the thing, right? You guys keep saying like, "Oh, but we're only 4 games back, bro." We were just like 8 games ahead. We're talking about a 13 game swing in the standings. That is not normal stuff. Okay? That is not what a championship team does. They don't give up 13 games in the standings, bro. You understand what I mean? Like it's not a miracle. It's just how it's instead. I'm like, not a miracle that we're only 4 games. It's how the hell are we 4 games back? That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I agree, man. Stephen B. Itchy Nut says, I have not saw anything the entire season that convinces me the Yankees are World Series threat. I would not compound years to come watching Williams walk for nothing after losing Durbin. Yeah, and that's what this thing. Look, I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't. I think that they really need to think about it though. It's time to start having those conversations, man. Those tough ones. Yeah, I'm gonna get. Yeah, Yassine's gonna get his commands blocked. He be getting too happy with it. That's a Mickey statistics of people who actually watch 1 through 9 innings and all pitchers know he scooped up like 1,000 dirt balls. Yeah. You getting a feeling that Volpe's the new Hicks? Oh man, that's what I was saying, Sunil. Like he's getting up there on the Hicks meter and the freaking Joey Gallo meter. Jacob, what's up, man? Yeah, it's good talking to you. Jacob was going off this morning, man. I'm gonna call you the Wells defender, man. He was going off for Austin Wells. Don't ever say nothing bad about Austin Wells around Jacob, because he's gonna let you hear it. I promise you. Nah, it's all right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a timer on it where it can only happen like once every 5 minutes or something like that. Um, I'm talking about the effects on the cameras and stuff. Cause you guys, you know what it is. You're gonna mess up a good thing, man. Mess up a good thing. Um, what was I? He said, "Yeah, we suck abnormally, but we shouldn't be within striking distance of first place, especially with the absence of Judge." No, but I hear what you're saying, man. But you got to look at the bigger picture. You're just looking at the standings, 4 games behind. But if you look at the season as a whole, then you'd be like, how the hell are you 4 games behind after you was just up this much? You understand what I mean? Like if I just woke up from a coma, God forbid, and I looked at the standings, what are my Yankees doing? Oh, we 4 games back. Okay, second place, not too bad. Not a big deal, right? But if you watch the season from game one all the way to today, you'll be like, what is wrong with this team? Something is seriously wrong. How did we go like the fall from grace was so fast and hard. Pause. Like, it's like a falling knife. Like we literally tanked. We're the worst team in Major League Baseball for 2 months, right? Not a week, 2 months. Or was it one? I don't know. For like 2 months, we've been like tied, or the last three, at least bottom three teams in Major League Baseball, all of baseball. That's what I'm saying. That just doesn't happen, and that's with Judge. That doesn't happen, man. And he says, keep in mind if we kept Durbin, Jazz would have been at third, and we know how that played out. Yeah, or they could have put Durbin at third. I don't know. I'm not. Look, I make that trade. The trade was a good trade. You got to make that trade every time. But now that we here where we at now, it's like, okay, you got to start thinking if you really, you know, unless you're going to talk extensions. So I'd be trying to do that. I'd be like, look, let's talk extensions like today, right now, overnight. Or I got to talk about trading you, because I can't afford to let you leave and we end up with nothing. Or if the Yankees are not seriously going to pursue him, I'm talking Devin Williams now. If they seriously not going to pursue him at the in the off season, like try to give him a legit contract, then they need to consider trading him. CMB says Durbin would have been a third, Jazz a second. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. Like what would have been. Look, he ain't coming back, man. He's playing third base for the Brewers. He's not coming back to the Yankees, right? So that'd be. Look, I get it though. It's a good trade. I make that trade again. At the time, it was a good trade. Looking back at it now, you wish you didn't make it, right? But now you just got to try to salvage what you can. if you could get a bullpen arm or two from him, also like a serious prospect or a decent prospect. Look, and the so the uh the precedence for this is Aroldis Chapman when he got traded to the Cubs, and we got Gleyber Torres, and look how he turned out. Whether you like him or not, he was a good. I would say he was that was a successful trade right there because we ended up signing him anyway. We signed Chapman back anyway in the offseason. So he went over to the Cubs for a few months and then came right back to us. You got to think about stuff like that, man. He said, geez, relax, Volpe's got this. Yeah. The Yankees slump in June and July under Boone era. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. And, really, I saw a stat. The Yankees only have a losing record in July since 2022. Before that, if anything, they've always had a winning record or something like that for like a certain amount of time. So, yeah. Look, man, going 2 months, right? They were like 25 and 42. That is not normal, right? You don't see World Series teams going through slumps like that. 2 month slumps. Trade DW and oh my god. Yeah, seeing this is not a slump. Honestly, I think they're just not a good team. Yeah, at some point you got to tell yourself like, yo, bro. So what are you gonna say? Come September, we still gonna be like, man, no, is that they went through a 4 month slump. That's called being bad. You know, that's not called being good. So we had a good April and May, June, July, terrible. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're a bad team, man, but they definitely not a great team. They're not good on paper. I feel like they should be better than this. They haven't done it. They have not done it. But we're gonna see in a few days. We're gonna see how Cashman really feels about this team Thursday evening, right? Thursday evening, if the news breaks, the Yankees ain't do nothing. We got some pitcher named freaking Joe Schmo. Then we know that they don't even believe in themselves. I hope we don't, but I tell you what, we don't have the best player in the world no more. So we'll see. Oh, that Clint Frazier. Uh oh yeah, the Bryce Harper, Rob Manfred thing. I feel like he should have never went in the clubhouse talking all that craziness. Man. It wasn't gonna go well, and I have a lot of respect for Bryce Harper because he's a real one for letting them know, like, get the hell out of here. Um, I think Manfred he's feeling the heat now because he knows it's coming. It's coming, and that you know what that, and I'll be honest, like we all talk about this looming lockout, right? That's gonna come. Um, but a part of me is like, whatever. We'll deal with it when we get there, or hopefully it never gets there, or they'll figure it out, right? They always figure it out. They'll figure it out. But with Manfred going in there and doing all this stuff, that tells me that he's a little he's panicking, he's worried, and there's a lot of stuff coming, and I think there will be a lockout. I think they will. And there's so many and look, I don't understand all the ins and outs. There's so many things that these teams and the players union, the players association, and the owners are gonna be fighting for, and it's gonna be interesting. This could really shape the way this league is for years to come. I think so. I hope if the lockout happens, I hope there's no games missed. I believe, but yeah, Manfred should have never went in in the freaking locker room talking about a salary cap. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. Maybe the younger guys, right? But not the young guys, the guys who are not really as talented as others, right? But a guy like Bryce Harper, he ain't trying to hear that stuff. Khadija, what's up, Khadija? J Rib, what's up? Would you trade Jazz for the right price? But Jazz a shortstop, he has a stronger arm. Yeah, but Jazz was having trouble with his arm uh when he was playing third base, so that's why I wouldn't move him to shortstop. Not right now, anyway. Trading Jazz, I like Jazz. I don't want him to go anywhere. Jazz is the man, but right now I'm in the I don't know, and this could change, right? But I'm in the mindset that if the right deal comes along, I'll trade anybody if the right deal comes along. Yeah, and Ace, you're right. Manfred's trying to divide the players. You're right because the guys, only them top tier guys, the Sotos, the Bryce Harpers, they gonna be enriched if there's no cap. They're gonna kill it. But them lower guys, they always gonna stay at league minimum. They're not gonna be making that much money. But if there was a cap, from that's what I would believe that if there was a cap, they can make something. They make more. I don't know. They got to figure it out. But I think it's if they were to put in a cap, right? That's what I think like the Dodgers are doing. I think the Dodgers know it's coming, so that's why they just taking all these players and deferring all that money because they're gonna be grandfathered in anyway. They're like, well, you know what? Come in. How much you want? Blank check. Here you go. So when they do put the cap, the salary cap, they're gonna be good. A salary cap would expose GMs like Cashman. Yeah, because now you got to work with what you got. No more going to daddy for money. You know what I mean? That's it. You're gonna see who's really, creative and who really could put it together a team. See, like right now, if there was a cap, we'd be in trouble. A mover like Ryan McMahon, that wasn't gonna happen if we had a cap. Right? But there is no cap. Cashman's team is dog shit. So he could run to Papa Hal and say, Papa Hal, I need money to fix this. And Hal is either gonna say yeah or no. That's what it is. I think the Yankees in the offseason should look for better options at shortstop. I think they should do it right now, Khadija. I think they should look for better options right now. As we're speaking, they should be on the phone looking for better options. I don't think they are, but they should. When the paychecks stop, things get serious. But yeah, but I think the owners are starting to hunker down, man. And that's why they've been look, this battle has been brewing for quite some time. I'm talking about the upcoming lockout. That's why you got guys like Hal a few years ago saying it shouldn't take more than $300 million to build a winning team. Yet he gives this dude $300 million every year and he can't do it. I think Hal wants the cap, so that's why he doesn't like going over it too much. He could, but he doesn't go over it because I think the owners, right, because they're gonna get votes, right? All goes. I'm sure they take a vote. They have their clique. It's like politics, man. They already have an alliance between owners. Like, look, we're gonna do this and we're gonna hold out. We don't care. We'll lock it out. We'll lock it up. Like, we're gonna do the lockout. And when these players ain't getting a check, because they don't get paid when there's a lockout, right? When they're not getting paid, we'll see how long they can survive. Yeah, the Bryce Harpers, they're gonna be good. The Juan Soto don't ever have to. He'll be good. A guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right, who got a $325 million signing bonus, he's straight. He could sit out a whole season. But that guy was getting paid league minimum, who didn't get a signing bonus because he was drafted in the 12th round or something like that. Yeah, he's gonna be hurting. He's gonna be hurting. So those are the guys that really don't want the locks. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Anybody ever seen what's that movie? The Newsies, right? But that's how it's gonna be, man. They're gonna start baseball batting people down. Dodger $400 million territory. You know what the players should do? The players should set up, like when they do the lockout, they like in New York, they should set up that big inflatable rat in front of Yankee Stadium. A big inflatable rat and just freaking start picketing and protesting and shit. Honestly, if we had a cap years ago, we probably would have lost Judge. Yeah, because we had too many bad contracts. What is your favorite Yankee trade? What is my favorite Yankee trade and Yankee free agent signing ever? My favorite Yankee trade was Alex Rodriguez. And my favorite signing, I gotta think. I don't know. It's a good one. My favorite Yankee signing. It's obviously not like not like extending Judge or Jeter or something like that. Like a player that came in. I think well, no, that wasn't a sign. Hold on, let me think. My favorite Yankee signing. I don't know. I got to think about that one. I'll get back to you. I like Jazz too, but he needs to take his defense more serious. He be trying to look flashy and jump throws, etc. Yeah. Two hands, Jazz. That's what you got to tell him. Two hands, Jazz. Two hands. You be trying to Euro step a ground ball, bro. You can't be Euro stepping no ground ball. Two hands. Right, Jay? Oh man. Jazz all worried about how he looks. No, Jazz is nice though. I like Jazz. You know, when he was batting earlier and I was looking at his stats, I'm gonna put it up here, matter of fact. And it's not bad. Did I do I spelled it wrong. There you go. They're not terrible, man. 18 home runs. His OPS is 821. On base percentage 339. 10 stole 10 bags. He's solid, dude. Jazz is solid. Most of those errors he got came from third base. So we're not gonna really hold that against him. Jazz is solid. This is a guy they gotta really think about extending and keeping him. Yeah, the streaming service stuff is crazy, man. I can't with that stuff. Cody Bellinger too. They got similar numbers. Look at that. Very well, the average is way up there for Cody, but they're close. My favorite Yankee trade was easily David Justice. Signing CC Sabathia was a good signing, but I feel like there got to be a better one. I'm trying to think. I can't think while talking at the same time. Cody Bellinger is also a guy I'd like to extend. Yeah, I hope they do, but I feel like they're gonna have to pay, man. I think, or maybe not. Maybe he gives us a whole like a friendly discount or something. But I feel like there's gonna be teams that they're gonna seek his services and they're gonna overpay for him. But you know what? With Cody, look, you saw that home run here today. He's built for Yankee Stadium. Like, don't make the same mistake Juan Soto made. Even though Juan Soto is Juan Soto, and he ended up fixing himself somewhat. But it's still never gonna be like it was in Yankee Stadium. You know? That short porch is just built for these guys. For them to leave it is crazy. And then you got Judge batting in front of you or behind you every day. Yeah, man, he got to stay here if he cares about his legacy and his numbers and doing good and stuff. But if he just cares about he just wants the most money possible, then he's probably gonna go to another team. Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of trade talks about Harrison Bader. The only way I see that happen is if they trade Grisham. Bring in Harrison Bader, trade Grisham. That's the only way, or somebody, because then we have too many outfielders. Judge is gonna come back and play DH. Apparently they're gonna try to see if this guy Giancarlo Stanton could play the outfield, right? So then you're gonna have too many outfielders, just too many. Yeah, Cashman said he didn't sign him. You know why? Because he said that um he doesn't he wasn't wouldn't work out as a first baseman or something like that. That he don't see him. He would never be a good first baseman because they knew that he had to move to first, right? Because of the UCL injury and all that stuff. And look, it turns out he's a Gold Glover first baseman. So he was wrong about that. For some reason, we want him. Judge and Soto would be like the duo from the old TV show Fantasy Island. Grisham is better. I agree, but I also think they probably thinking about they're two left-handed right now, and they'd like a right-handed bat. And Grisham is a rental. I don't know how Harrison Bader's contract is, but I think he signed a 1-year deal too, so he would be a rental too. Murakami is going to be posted in 2026. Do I see the Yankees going for him? Um, it depends. It depends what happens here, right? If you see them trade like Ben Rice or something like that, or maybe they do. But if they do, then they got to make room for him. They got to make room for him. So they'll have to move obviously not re-signs what's his name? Goldie and do something with Ben Rice. Cause Stanton problem solved. Bro, Stanton is the reason why we have world hunger. If they DFA Stanton, they'll eliminate world hunger. If you ask Li. Just play, man. Li, if you're watching this, I'm joking. My problem with Grisham is not him. Say that 5 times fast. Grisham is not him. Grisham is not him. Oh, well, I guess you can. It's Boone. He thinks Grisham is a leadoff hitter, and he's definitely is not. You know what's funny? That every time I say something like that, like today, right? I was watching the game with my wife, and Volpe comes to bat, and I'm like, this guy sucks. Right there, boom, RBI base hit. I'm like, okay, whatever. He still sucks. Then home run, boom. I'm like, man, that's how it is. Now that you said Grisham is not a good leadoff hitter, tomorrow he's going 4 for 5. You can lock that in. Murakami is being groomed for LA. I think baseball needs to step in on that, man. You can't let all the Japanese players go to one team. I feel like the Yankees are, today the first Japanese Major League Baseball player threw out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. I don't know. Just saying, maybe they trying to, rub some elbows, get friendly, Maybe they trying to get friendly with them, trying to bring people in here. Because it used to be the Yankees was like the spot for Japanese players. Bro, Stan has no damn elbows. Stan has no elbows. What the hell? He's like, you got no elbow. You got T-Rex on. You need a strong arm for right field. If he throws, he's can automatic TJ. I don't think so, man. It'll be all right. I don't think if they do it, they probably put him out there. Maybe the only way I see him out there is if they pinch hit. Let's say they have to bring him in as a pinch hitter, and then for whatever reason, somebody got to play the field and they ran out of fielders. He's gonna be out there, something like that. I don't think that, or maybe they give him a start just to see. I don't think they're very serious about having him out there like that. Haven't seen that in a minute. Yeah, I haven't seen him here in a while too. I don't have Japanese players here. I will have to add them to the database, and I don't have the API for that. Trade for Robbie Ray, Patrick Corbin, and DFA LeMahieu and Stanton. That's LA Yankee King way. Oh man, Shohei Ohtani pitching. I'm gonna try to, especially for like a two-way player, like somebody who pitches and hits. I gotta I gotta recode it and add some logic to do that. You know, it's not gonna come up, Khadija, because it's only things it don't. It's gonna look for hitting stats, most likely. Let me see. Yeah. See, he's a two-way player. I will have to add a command to let him know to look for pitching stats. I don't have that in there though right now. Man, 272, 38 home runs. Hey, my dog is eating my bag. Roxy. Hold on a second. Yeah. Ipe. You really put Ipe. Aaron Judge 2022. Maybe. No, don't eat the mic. AINFE.
This is delicious.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, y'all, that's gonna do it for me. I gotta wake up really early for work. Soto down. I don't know if he's down. He played yesterday, so I don't think so. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you like the video if you haven't. Please do. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me read this one last. Oh man. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ace, you doing a play-by-play tomorrow? Let me know, man. I'll go check it out. But anyway, yeah, I'll be here after the game tomorrow. Hopefully after another W. And hopefully the Blue Jays lose again. I think they play tomorrow. Hopefully they lose. And then we'll be 3 games back. Little by little, right? 1 game at a time. That's all we could do. Taking 1 game at a time. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Have a blessed day, y'all. Peace.